What would happen if all 7 billion people screamed at once? Cough drop sales would increase for a week. r/Wall Street Bits has entered the chat, Reddit link. Babies would also scream. And then freak out. And they would also scream. That would also make the babies freak out. Yeah, they'd scream too. Scream? Did you account for baby screaming? No, but it would make them freak out. I would freak out. And dogs would cry. Then dogs would scream. And that's all. That's what they do when they cry. Doctors would freak out when they realize people in coma also screamed. Not to mention those who've had their vocal cords removed. But would they make any noise, or would it just look like they were yawning? Sounds like the beginning to a no-sleep post. Everyone in the world screamed at once, even the ones who shouldn't be able to. I still wouldn't hear a thing. But you would feel it. I haven't felt much of anything since my guinea pig died. RIP. No, his name was Billy. r/Unexpected Futurama, Reddit link. Have you ever gone to an ENT to have your earwax cleaned out? Neither have I, but I hear from many people that they could hear so much better after having that done. I can't hear for crap, either. Why did you jump to clogged ears rather than deafness? Haha, I know this really made me laugh. It would be so loud if everyone screamed. The amount of earwax that would prevent you from hearing this would be as if I don't know 14 billion ears worth. I live in the county, so I'd hear my neighbors if we were all outside, but that's about it. I don't think it would be very loud anywhere unless you're packed in with a bunch of other people. The sound from a packed stadium carries a couple miles at most, and everyone would be more spread out on a given day. I live a mile from multiple stadiums, one of them of which is an open-air stadium which holds like 50,000 people, and the only thing I ever hear is when they set off the fireworks, and even that isn't very loud. I think the terrain matters a lot. I could make out individual chants/cheers from the Razorback Stadium a little over a mile away, but I was living on a hill above the stadium at the time. It's a pretty common thing. Actually, a few weeks ago, I could not hear at all out of my left ear, and I could hear like 75% out of my right ear. Went to the doctor and she squirted a bunch of crap in my ear, and there was a whole F-load of earwax that washed out, and I could hear all new again. 10/10. Probably just spiders, and she said it was earwax. Comments like this are why I wish I could punch people through time and space. Edit, infinite space and time. I would like to be able to punch original poster in the face from my current location. That's literally how punching works. Pretty sure they meant backwards through time. To my knowledge, normal punching only goes forwards through time at the regular rate. Edit, the regular rate of 1 second per second. It's not earwax. My cochleas are completely ossified. Well, why would you go and do something like ossify your cochleas? These crazy millennials, am I right? All the cool kids were ossifying their cochleas. F you unossifies your cochleas. My hearing is worse because of this. My parents went to get me checked as they thought I had hearing problems. I did fine on all the tests, but they noticed a bunch of wax, so they put tubes in my ears to help with drainage. Third time they put tubes and I was still doing fine on hearing tests, but the tube in one ear dropped deeper into my ear. They had to remove it with a pair of long nose plier looking things. In the process, something stuck to a membrane in my ear and I heard a deafening pop noise. So now, hearing is shot in my left ear, and I actually have in my medical file that I have selective hearing. Turns out, I can hear fine if I'm focused on the source, but my parents' frustration was they were trying to talk to me when reading. If I'm paying attention to something else, I can just tune out even someone yelling at me. That happens with me if I'm cringe or reading something. My girlfriend could be talking to me about something while I'm in the middle of reading a long post or something. It's like I don't even recognize English anymore. As far as I know, she's just making a bunch of weird sounds. That's kind of sick though. That sounds like you have a superpower. I can block out noises at will. With great power comes great responsibility. Useful in college when you need to study despite an ongoing LAN party taking over your floor, less useful when watching TV with your wife then she decides to talk to you, and dangerous when you have a 2-year-old. I have to expend effort just to listen to whatever I'm doing, whether TV or conference call is working from home, and listen for the telltale sounds of a munchkin going wild. I can't speak for everyone, but in my experience when I've got an earwax blockage I can tell. It's not simply a case of my hearing is bad, I can feel a sort of weird pressure in my ear and sounds aren't simply quieter, the pitch changes as well. It's a bit like when your ears pop due to changes in air pressure, although not identical. Getting excess earwax cleaned out can definitely help with hearing, but if it's bad enough to be really impacting your hearing then there should be signs of it. As a side note, having no earwax also sucks. When I've gotten them cleaned out to remove a blockage, then everything is really loud for a few hours and that also sucks. Just being next to a normal road and traffic sounds like I'm on a freeway. A tree in the middle of a forest would fall. Or would it? It would. Branching out before you leaf, dogs would bark. But, where would the branching out stem from? Bark bark. Michael here. What? Are your toes? What really are your toes? Do you have toes or do toes have you? But would it make a noise? Yes, but we won't hear it over everyone effing screaming. We would all get ice cream. Actually, the prophecy just states that we all scream for it, not that we receive it. Translated roughly from the dead language, I scream, you scream, we all scream, for ice cream. As you can see, the ice cream may not really care that we are screaming. Instead, it just stares with passive indifference, which only makes us scream harder. Yo, how do you do that weird text thing? This gave me a flashback to Missing No in Pokémon. It's an invisible Unicode character that combines other characters. Generally, it's used for putting symbols like apostrophe or tilde over / under letters in Spanish, French, or whatever. But there's not really a limit to how many combining characters you can jam onto a single normal character, so you can end up putting pretty much anything you want into a vertical line. The easiest way to play with that is with a generator like you can find at Reddit. Reddit also used to let these vertical stacks pretty much right up the page as far as the commenter wanted, but they fixed that finally to contain comments to their comment boxes. So at one point you could find people posting text emoticons, like the Lenny face with super tall arms, that intentionally covered up other people's comments. Web link. Oh, so that's how it works, pretty cool, and thanks for the links, some pretty wacky stuff. Makes sense that Reddit would limit it, that would be annoying as hell having them take up all the space. Dogs would bark. Dog will hunt. Nothing. Just that. Sound decays too quickly to have any kind of combined amplification effect. I mean, you'd hear the people in earshot yell, but yeah, probably not much else. Maybe not even that. We'd probably just hear our own shouting or 90/10ths. Cities, when everyone shouts, are pretty interesting. It's not like breaking windows, but the combined cacophony is actually quite interesting. Hearing the thunder-like sound of a football stadium in the distance exploding with cheers is super cool. I remember listening to matches on the radio outside as a kid, and when our team scored, we would turn the volume down and wait for the sound from the stadium miles away to hit us a few seconds later. It's really interesting. I used to live just behind a football, soccer, stadium, and the noise is something else. Man, I had to scroll too far to get an actual answer. Nothing? 2.5 billion people would all wake up out of a deep sleep at the same time screaming. Pretty sure, that alone would be the basis of several New World religions. I saw it as kind of a combined effort thing. You went all supernatural. I can just imagine being assigned the 5 a.m. slot. Oh man, I have work at 9, and was hoping to sleep until at least 7. I'm just waiting for the writing prompt post now. Yeah, but what if we all farted? The ozone would disintegrate. It would be loud. I think that's about it. A bunch of animals would freak the F out. All humans and animals, screaming in sync. To the earth, bye bye bye. Would we all have to do the synchronized waves too? Because I'm starting to get into this. That would be extremely painful. You're a big guy. For you. I don't know. I guess it's going to be me. It's going to be May. Almost time to go dust of that old Justin meme. On and on we've gathered in this place so many seek, in perfect synchronicity of which so many speak. Probably a bunch of people too. It would not be audible beyond a reasonable distance from any given group of people. You ever watch a sporting event and a big play causes you and your neighbors to react at the same time? I imagine that's about how it would sound. But it would kill a lot of people. Hundreds would drown, especially divers without oxygen. It may F up thousands of surgeries worldwide and kill some people that use heavy machinery and vehicles. It would ruin thousands of hide-and-seek games but also reveal the hiding places of victims from abusers, soldiers, and police. It may also reveal the location of some stalkers, trafficked victims and save animals from poachers and hunters. It would damage millions of ears, especially people with microphones and their audiences and people with earpieces that help them hear better and a few spies with machines sensitive to loud sounds. It would disturb the sleep of billions and freak out everyone in hospitals and clinics, especially people with comatose patients. It would F with the mental health of millions, such as people with autism, selective mutism, and paranoias. Some animals would hurt people because of the noise, people feeding dangerous animals at the zoo, safari adventurers, wildlife photographers and that one guy in Russia who is nearby a bear. There are also tons of people who can't scream for different health reasons, people with damaged vocal cords, recovering from mouth surgery, mouth cancer, removed tonsils, etc., so it would damage their health. COVID cases would slightly increase too. So many paintings, crafts, and songs would be damaged or ruined. Conspiracy theories would bloom. Religious leaders and politicians would have to release statements about it. Interesting. This all assumes it was an involuntary act inflicted on humanity by some mysterious power, human or otherwise. I had assumed humanity had somehow collectively organized itself to do it and that it would therefore mark an unprecedented moment of global unity and cooperation and potentially be the dawn of a new era of world peace and, consequently, prosperity for all. You're the guy who makes alliances with Gandhi and Civ Games, aren't you? They planned when they do it, selected a date. They said, how exciting. They said, don't be late. Their moment arrived, and they grouped in a crowd. And that's when they did it. It was fairly loud. This ending has a bigger letdown than an M. Night Shyamalan movie. Well done. Without the well done, this would sound like a segue into a Family Guy cutaway. This ending is a bigger letdown than a M. Night Shyamalan movie cut to a producer's room. Shyamalan, and then it turns out the robbers that terrorized the family and shot the kid were only raccoons and it was all just a misunderstanding. Producer, here is all the funding you want. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to be the first to know about Red Rabbit Reader's new videos. If you like our videos, please like them on YouTube and share them with your friends. We welcome your comments below. Press to start another of our videos.